Let's finish this lanyard. Story time again. All right. So, before I came to Southwest, I've been in aviation, mind you, 20 plus years now. Before I came to Southwest, I was a aircraft technician, and one of the responsibilities were to, well, actually, we had fuelers out there that would handle this job at the time. They were old military guys. I worked at a military base, and I decided this particular day that I would, because we all knew how to fuel airplanes, whatever. So I was like, you know what? I'll do it. I need to get out of here. I need to get out of my head. Well, I was stressed out. This is another God is real moment. So I'm walking to the field truck, the wrong field truck at that. Walking to the field truck. Backstory: my ex boyfriend, my boyfriend at the time, definitely an ex now. He stressing me out. I mean, stressing me all the way out, right? So I'm walking to the field truck. Mind you, we had this big flight the that morning. Actually, it was that morning. We had a huge fight. And so walking to this truck, I'm talking to myself, right? Just, oh, I hate that. Can't believe, just going through it, right? And so I get to the truck. Now, the particular plane that I'm getting ready to put gas in takes what you call avgas, which is 100 low lead, right? Now, this gas you can put into a motorcycle, something small, right? Well, I'm getting ready to fuel a plane that takes 100 low lead, jet fuel. So I'm getting ready to fuel this plane, this small plane, gas that is supposed to power these huge jets. Okay. Now, I'm out of it. Okay. Going out of it. I'm just talking to myself at this point. I'm in a fog walking to this plane. Now, the fuel that they requested was a top off, which means fuel it to the max. Every drop you can get in this bad boy, fuel it. And not only that, there's certain planes that take, and it's jet fuel, that take the nozzle, right? Not the ones that you hook up like that, right? So on our jet trucks, we had the nozzle because, like I said, certain planes do take that and they require jet fuel. Well, this one is supposed to be avgas. It took the nozzle, right? So that didn't even throw me off. So I'm fueling this plane, still talking to myself. I'm topping it off, okay? All the gas I can get in this bad boy. I'm topping it off. And soon as I finish, I'm bringing in the holes back to the truck, and something literally like this, no lie, stops me as I'm facing the truck, stops me and says, "What kind of fuel does this plane take?" Now, mind you, this whole time I've been talking to myself, and I said, "It takes avgas." And I look at the truck. I said, "Oh my God, it's the jet truck." It says Jet A right on the side. And I said, "Oh my God." Now, as I'm noticing what I just did, our fuelers are walking out of the building. Ralph, it was his name. "Did you just fuel that plane?" And I said, "Oh my God, yeah, I did." I'm like 22, 23, I think at the time. And I'm like, "Oh my God, yeah, I did." And he was like, "Well, we got to get it out of there." I was like, "I know. I'm so sorry." Now, mind you, like I said, I'm just out of it. Like I was so out of it. But once I caught it and was like, I'm talking to myself. I said, something said to me, what kind of fuel does this plane take? And I have gas. I'm like, now, what if Ralph wouldn't have came out and said like, hey, did you just fuel this plane, right? What if it was just me in this truck? Because normally it is. Early morning trips, people would say, hey, we need you to pull this plane out, make sure the oil's good, and top it off with fuel. And no one else is out there. It's just you, right? And you do that, and you put the wrong damn fuel in this plane. No one would have known if I wouldn't have been stopped in the chest and Ralph wouldn't have came out. No one would have known. Because it was just me. It was just me out there, me in this plane, in this fuel truck. Well, thank God I was stopped when I was. Because had I continued to fuel that plane and no one caught it, as soon as they would have got to the runway and the fuel would have hit the lines, the fuel lines, they would have went up and went straight down. I would have killed everybody on that plane. I can talk about that story without crying now, because I used to tell people and I would just fall apart because I could have killed those people. I was so broken up. Of course, I got suspended, whatever, for like a week. I thought I was going to get fired, but I'm like, look, I'm a good worker, you know? I was just going through something that day. And I mean, really going through it. And mind you, I want to say we broke up right around that time, because I'm like, I really could have, that could have been a bad situation, right? Yeah, I had to get rid of that dude because he was not good for my health, my mental health, anything, right? But yeah, man, like I always think about that. So of course I had a great friend, and her dad, awesome, siphoned all of the fuel, and he was telling me like, look, like, oh man, this could have really been bad. But he got some free fuel out of it, because he's like, yo, I don't care. I can put this in my motorcycle. No, what did he say? He's like, I can sell this. Like, he didn't care. So he was able to siphon it out. And when I say siphon, he helped me out. Dude's awesome. But yeah, he really, really helped me out. But yeah, that was a real moment. That was a real moment for me. And so when I say God is real, yeah, I learned that early on. I mean, true enough, that's not the only reason why I know God is real, but that's just one of the moments where I heard him. Like, you know what I mean? It's so weird too, because you hear people say, oh, I hear Jesus, I hear him talking to me. And no, I heard him that day. Like, that brought me back. It brought me back. And just to know that, and I actually, you know what? And I called the people, the owner of the plane. I told him what had happened. And he said, thank you so much for catching it. Thank you. I really appreciate your honesty. He was like, yeah, I mean, it absolutely, it could have been bad, but that's why I appreciate you guys being honest, because things like that do happen. You just don't know about it. Okay? Just so you know. People that have these small planes, whatever. Yeah, I would say get rid of those. Get rid of them small planes that look like, okay, so here's the thing too, with the nozzles over the ports, right, over the wings. Some of them are small, right? They're really, really small to where you can only get those avgas nozzles in there. But some of them are big as hell. Like, and you can fit the jet nozzle, the big jet nozzles in there. And that was one of those. Like, look, so you don't bring on any confusion, I would say, yeah, get rid of those planes or switch those little ports out, something. Because it happens, And I swear to you, being in aviation this long and knowing like all these different departments, I think about that. Like when you hear these small planes going down or shortly after takeoff, I'm like, well, what type of fuel? In my mind, I'm like, okay, well, what type of fuel did they have? What was going on? True enough, there's a airplane accident every day, right? And when you think you don't always hear about it, but anytime you do, more than likely it's always a small plane. So just stuff like that freaks me out, because it was an honest accident, but those accidents happen, you know. How frequent, I don't know. Now, like I said, that was uh 15, maybe 16. Yeah, maybe 16 or 17 years ago. I think around 17 years ago. I always base it off my husband and I being together. So I want to say it was about 17 years ago was when that happened. But it happens.